What's up, Sigma Warriors? Welcome back to Official Sigma Male, the only channel that truly understands the enigmatic power of the lone wolf mindset. If you're here, you're already part of an elite brotherhood that operates beyond the conventional social hierarchy. But here's something that might surprise you. While you're busy perfecting your independence and self-mastery, women are picking up on subtle signals you didn't even know you were sending. Today, we're diving deep into the female psyche to uncover the 10 things women instantly notice about Sigma men. And trust me, some of these will absolutely blow your mind. We're not talking about the obvious stuff like confidence or success. No, we're exploring the microscopic details, the unconscious behaviors, and the magnetic qualities that make women stop in their tracks when a true Sigma walks into the room. See, most men are playing checkers, while Sigma males are playing 4D chess. And women, they're hardwired to detect these differences at a cellular level. They can sense authenticity from a mile away, and they're drawn to the mysterious energy that only a self-actualized Sigma can emit. Before we begin this journey of revelation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Why? Because the insights we share on this channel aren't just observations, they're weapons of mass attraction that can transform how women perceive and respond to you. Don't just be another face in the crowd, become the enigma that haunts their thoughts long after you've left the room. The strategic silence. Brothers, let's start with the most powerful weapon in a Sigma's arsenal, one that women find absolutely intoxicating. Strategic silence. This isn't about being shy or antisocial. This is about understanding that silence is a superpower only the truly confident wield with precision. When a Sigma enters a room, women immediately notice something different. He doesn't feel the compulsive need to fill every moment with chatter. While other guys desperately try to prove their worth through constant talking, the Sigma observes, processes, and speaks only when his words carry weight. Picture this. You're at a networking event with a heated discussion about market trends. Alpha males are dominating the conversation, each trying to one-up the other. Beta males are nodding along, seeking safe moments to agree. But you're listening intently, and when you finally speak, everyone, especially the women, stops to listen. This strategic silence creates perceived value through scarcity. Women are evolutionarily programmed to value what's rare. When you demonstrate that your words aren't freely distributed, each syllable becomes precious currency. They wonder, what is he thinking? What would make him speak? Women instantly differentiate between insecure silence and confident silence. Insecure silence comes with fidgeting and avoiding eye contact. Confident silence comes with relaxed posture and steady eye contact, someone comfortable in their own skin, regardless of external noise. Marcus, a software architect, attended his company's annual gala. While colleagues networked aggressively, he spent the evening observing and listening. When he did engage, he asked thoughtful questions that cut through superficial chatter. 3 different women approached him that night, not because he was chasing them, but because his strategic silence created magnetic mystery. The neuroscience is remarkable. When women encounter a man who isn't constantly seeking validation through speech, their brains register this as high self-worth and internal security. They think this man doesn't need others to validate his existence. But here's the crucial distinction. Strategic silence isn't about being cold. It's about being selective. You're not silent because you're scared. You're silent because you understand your energy is valuable and you invest it wisely. This creates the gravitational pull effect. Like a massive celestial body that doesn't chase smaller objects but draws them in through natural force, your strategic silence creates attraction that pulls people, especially women, toward you. In our noise-saturated world, silence becomes the ultimate luxury. Your restraint communicates power, your selectivity communicates value, and your comfort with quiet moments communicates inner peace that's increasingly rare. The quality over quantity social approach. Now let's dive into something that makes women stop and take notice immediately: how a Sigma male navigates social connections. While most men are playing the numbers game, collecting contacts, adding hundreds of social media friends, and spreading their energy thin across meaningless relationships, the Sigma operates with surgical precision in his social strategy. Women have an almost supernatural ability to detect authenticity in social interactions, and they instantly recognize when a man has mastered the art of quality over quantity in his relationships. This isn't about being antisocial or elitist. It's about understanding that your time, energy, and emotional investment are finite resources that deserve strategic allocation. Here's what happens when a Sigma enters any social environment. Instead of trying to work the room like a politician or blend into the crowd like a follower, he gravitates toward meaningful connections. Women watch this behavior with fascination because it's so different from what they typically observe in male social dynamics. Consider this real-world scenario. At a friend's birthday party, while most guys are trying to meet everyone, taking selfies with random people, and superficially chatting with as many women as possible, the Sigma focuses on having 3 or 4 genuinely engaging conversations. He's not counting interactions. He's measuring their depth and authenticity. Women notice this immediately because it signals several powerful traits simultaneously. First, it demonstrates that you value substance over surface-level connections. Second, it shows that you're secure enough to not need validation from crowds. Third, it indicates that you understand your own worth and aren't desperately seeking approval from everyone you meet. The psychology behind this is profound. When women see a man who's selective about his social investments, their brains automatically categorize him as high value. They think, if he's choosy about who he spends time with and he's choosing to engage with me, I must be special. This creates an instant elevation in their perception of both themselves and you. Let me tell you about David, a marketing consultant who embodies this principle perfectly. At industry conferences, while his peers are frantically exchanging business cards and trying to meet everyone in the room, David identifies 3 to 5 people who align with his values and professional goals. He invests deeply in those conversations, asking thoughtful questions, sharing genuine insights, and creating memorable interactions. The result? Women in his industry consistently remember him months later, not because he was the loudest or most visible, but because he made each interaction count. One female CEO mentioned in a later interview, David doesn't just network, he connects. When he talks to you, you feel like you're the only person in the room. This quality over quantity approach extends beyond professional settings into every aspect of social life. Sigma males typically have smaller, tighter circles of friends, but these relationships run incredibly deep. Women observe this and immediately understand that this is a man who values loyalty, depth, and authentic connection over social status games. The digital age has made this trait even more noticeable and attractive. While most men are trying to maximize their social media followers, getting likes from strangers, and maintaining hundreds of superficial online connections, the Sigma curates his digital presence like a private art collection. His social media might have fewer followers, but the engagement is meaningful, and his posts reflect genuine interests rather than attention-seeking behavior. Women find this approach incredibly refreshing because they're constantly bombarded by men who are obviously trying too hard to appear popular or successful. When they encounter a Sigma who's comfortable with a smaller but more meaningful social circle, it signals emotional maturity and self-assurance. Here's the key insight that most men miss. Women aren't impressed by how many people you know. They're impressed by the quality of relationships you maintain. They want to know that if they invest in a connection with you, they'll receive the same thoughtful attention and genuine engagement that you give to your chosen circle. This selective approach also creates natural intrigue. When women see that you're not desperately trying to befriend everyone, they become curious about what criteria you use for selecting your social investments. They start wondering, what would it take to earn his genuine friendship? What makes someone worthy of his time and attention? The Sigma's quality over quantity social approach ultimately communicates several irresistible messages. I know my worth. I value authentic connections. I'm not desperate for validation, and I invest deeply in the relationships I choose to cultivate. These are exactly the qualities that women find most attractive in potential partners, because they signal long-term relationship potential and emotional stability. The authentic indifference to validation. Brothers, this is where real Sigmas, separate from pretenders, and women spot this instantly. Authentic indifference to validation is the ultimate test that reveals your true nature. When someone offers praise or criticism, everything becomes clear. Other men light up at compliments or deflate at criticism. The Sigma remains internally unmoved because his self-worth isn't dependent on external opinions. Women are evolutionarily wired to detect this. They're drawn to genuine self-assurance because it signals stability and emotional maturity. Here's the difference. At a business meeting, your female colleague compliments your presentation. Average men puff up and seek more validation. The Sigma simply says thank you and continues being himself. Even more telling is handling criticism. Most men become defensive or argumentative. The Sigma listens, considers if there's value, and responds based on his own judgment, not the need to prove anything. Alexander, a freelance designer, had his work harshly criticized by a female client in front of her team. Instead of getting defensive, he listened carefully and calmly explained his rationale. Later, she told her assistant, "I've never seen someone handle criticism so professionally." Alexander just focused on solving the problem. Women instantly differentiate authentic indifference from fake stoicism. Authentic indifference shows genuine calm because there's nothing to suppress. You're not seeking external validation for self-worth. This creates scarcity value perception. If you don't need her approval to feel good, her approval becomes more valuable to give. Your indifference paradoxically makes her want to earn your validation. In dating, most men become overly eager when women show interest. The Sigma maintains consistent energy, whether she's responsive or distant, because his emotional state isn't dependent on her feedback. This creates a powerful dynamic. Women feel comfortable, no pressure, yet intrigued, uncertain of your feelings. They can't manipulate you through attention games, which makes you incredibly attractive. The goal isn't becoming cold, but developing such strong self-awareness that you engage authentically without needing approval to maintain emotional equilibrium. The calculated body language. Your body speaks before you even open your mouth, and women are masters at reading this silent language. The Sigma's body language isn't accidental. It's calculated, controlled, and completely different from other men. While alpha males use expansive, dominant gestures to claim space and beta males display submissive, approval-seeking postures, the Sigma maintains what I call relaxed authority. You're not trying to dominate the room or shrink into invisibility. You simply exist comfortably in your own space. Women notice this immediately because your body language communicates self-possession without aggression. You don't fidget when nervous, you don't mirror others to fit in, and you don't use excessive gestures to emphasize points. Every movement is intentional and economical. Here's a perfect example. Marcus walks into a coffee shop where his date is already seated. Instead of rushing over with eager energy or strutting with exaggerated confidence, he moves with calm purpose. His posture is upright but relaxed. His eye contact is steady but not intense, and he sits down without fidgeting or immediately checking his phone. The woman later told her friend, "There's something different about how he carries himself. He doesn't try to take up extra space like some guys, but he doesn't make himself small either. He just belongs wherever he is." This calculated body language creates what psychologists call secure attachment signals. Your posture communicates that you're comfortable with yourself and don't need to prove anything through physical dominance or submission. Women are particularly drawn to the Sigma's eye contact patterns. You don't stare intensely to assert dominance or avoid eyes to show submission. You maintain natural, comfortable eye contact that says, "I see you, I'm present, but I'm not trying to control or impress you." Your hand gestures are minimal, but precise. While other men use excessive hand movements to emphasize every point or keep their hands nervously hidden, you use your hands naturally and economically. This restraint communicates confidence and self-control. The Sigma's calculated body language ultimately signals emotional regulation, self-awareness, and authentic confidence. Qualities that women find irresistibly attractive because they indicate long-term stability and maturity. The mysterious digital footprint. In our hyper-connected world, women immediately investigate your online presence, and what they find reveals everything about your true nature. The Sigma's digital footprint is strategically mysterious, creating intrigue rather than overexposure. While most men either overshare every detail of their lives or maintain completely sterile profiles, the Sigma curates his online presence. Like a private art gallery, you share enough to show you're real and interesting, but not enough to eliminate mystery. Women notice this calculated digital restraint immediately. Your social media doesn't scream for attention with constant posts, humble brags, or validation-seeking content. Instead, you share occasional glimpses into your world that reveal depth, interests, and values without desperation. Take James, a software engineer whose Instagram has only 47 posts spanning 2 years. Each photo tells a story. A book he's reading, a hiking trail he discovered, a project he completed. No gym selfies, no quotes about being an alpha, no obvious attempts to appear successful. Just authentic moments from a life well lived. Women who discover his profile spend significantly more time exploring it because there's substance to uncover. One woman mentioned, "Most guys' profiles are like billboards. Everything's right there, trying to sell you something. His feels like finding someone's private journal. Your digital mystery extends to response patterns. You don't immediately like every photo or respond to every message within minutes. Your online engagement follows the same quality over quantity principle as your real-world interactions. Women find this incredibly attractive because it signals that you have a life beyond your phone. You're not desperately seeking digital validation or constantly monitoring your online image. Your mysterious digital footprint communicates that you're focused on living your life rather than documenting it for others' approval. This strategic approach to your online presence creates natural curiosity and positions you as someone worth investigating further, rather than someone who's already revealed everything about himself through oversharing. The selective attention distribution. Here's something women notice within minutes of meeting you: how you distribute your attention. While most men either focus intensely on one woman to the exclusion of everyone else or scatter their attention, desperately trying to impress everyone, the Sigma operates with strategic selectivity. Your attention isn't freely given to anyone. who demands it. You're present and engaged when someone earns your focus, but you don't feel obligated to give equal attention to everyone in the room. This selective distribution creates immediate intrigue and value. Women observe this behavior and instantly understand that your attention is valuable currency, not something you hand out indiscriminately. When you do focus on someone, they feel genuinely seen and heard because they know you're choosy about where you invest your mental energy. Picture this scenario. At a networking event, while other men are frantically trying to make eye contact, with every attractive woman or desperately seeking attention from the most important people in the room, you engage meaningfully with whoever genuinely interests you, regardless of their social status or appearance. Sarah, a marketing executive, later described her encounter with a Sigma. Most men at those events either ignore you completely while trying to impress higher status people, or they give you obvious attention because they want something. This guy engaged with everyone authentically, but you could tell he was genuinely interested in the conversation, not just going through the motions. Your selective attention distribution extends to digital communication too. You don't immediately respond to every text, like every social media post, or chase conversations that don't genuinely interest you. This creates natural scarcity around your engagement. Women find this incredibly attractive because it demonstrates self-respect and intentionality. You're not desperately seeking connection with anyone available. You're investing your mental energy where it feels authentic and valuable. This selective approach communicates that when someone does earn your full attention, it means something significant. It's not handed out freely, so receiving it feels special and valuable. The internal locus of control. Women have a sixth sense for detecting where a man's sense of control comes from, and they're magnetically drawn to the Sigmas. Internal locus of control. Unlike other men who blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their situations, you take full ownership of your life's direction. This shows up in how you talk about challenges and setbacks. While most men complain about their boss, the economy, or how others treated them, you focus on what you can control and influence. Women notice this immediately because it signals emotional maturity and personal responsibility. When David lost his job due to company downsizing, instead of spending weeks complaining about unfair treatment or a bad economy, he immediately started strategizing his next move. His female friend observed, "Most guys would be bitter and blame everyone else. David just said, this gives me the opportunity to find something better aligned with my goals." Women find this internal locus of control incredibly attractive because it means you're not going to make them responsible for your emotional state or life satisfaction. You don't need external validation to feel successful, and you don't blame others when things don't go your way. This quality communicates reliability and stability. You're someone who takes charge of situations rather than being victimized by them. When women see this trait, they immediately categorize you as someone who can handle life's challenges without falling apart or becoming dependent on others for emotional support. Your internal locus of control also means you don't try to control things outside your influence, including other people's behavior. This creates a sense of safety for women because they know you won't try to manipulate or control them. You're focused on managing yourself. The unconventional status symbols. While most men chase obvious status symbols, expensive cars, designer clothes, or flashy jewelry, the Sigma's status symbols are subtle and unconventional. Women with depth immediately recognize these understated indicators of real value. Your status symbols might be a well-worn leather journal, a vintage watch with personal meaning, or books with handwritten notes in the margins. These items tell stories about your character, interests, and values rather than your bank account. Women notice these details because they reveal authenticity. You're not trying to impress strangers with obvious wealth displays. You're carrying items that have genuine significance to your life and growth. Take Michael, whose most prized possession is a simple notebook where he writes daily reflections. Women who notice it are intrigued because it suggests depth, self-awareness, and commitment to personal development, qualities far more attractive than expensive accessories. Your unconventional status symbols extend to experiences over possessions. You might mention learning a new language, completing a challenging hike, or mastering a skill rather than bragging about material acquisitions. This communicates that you value growth and experiences over surface-level success markers. Women find this approach refreshing because it indicates you're not trying to buy respect or attraction. Your status comes from who you are and what you've accomplished through effort and dedication, not what you can afford to purchase. These subtle status symbols create intrigue because they require deeper investigation to understand their significance. A woman has to get to know you to appreciate why that simple item or experience matters to you, which naturally draws her into wanting to learn more about your story. The emotional self-regulation mastery. Here's something women detect within minutes: your ability to regulate your own emotions. While other men ride emotional roller coasters or expect others to manage their feelings, the Sigma maintains steady emotional equilibrium regardless of external circumstances. Women observe how you handle stress, disappointment, excitement, or conflict. You don't explode with anger, collapse into self-pity, or become overly euphoric. Your emotional responses are proportionate and controlled, which signals incredible inner strength. This emotional self-regulation shows up in small moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, you don't road rage. When you receive good news, you don't become manic. When plans change unexpectedly, you adapt without drama. Women notice these reactions because they indicate how you'd handle relationship challenges. Jennifer dated a Sigma who demonstrated this perfectly when their dinner reservation was lost and the restaurant was booked solid. Instead of getting angry or frustrated, he simply said, "No problem, I know another great place nearby." She later said, "That moment told me everything I needed to know about his character." Your emotional self-regulation extends to not dumping your problems on others or seeking constant emotional support. You process your feelings internally and seek advice when appropriate, but you don't make your emotional state other people's responsibility. Women find this incredibly attractive because it means they can trust you to handle difficulties without falling apart. They don't have to walk on eggshells around your emotions or constantly manage your moods. This creates a sense of safety and stability that's rare in today's emotionally reactive world. Your mastery of emotional self-regulation communicates that you're relationship-ready because you can handle the inevitable ups and downs of partnership without creating unnecessary drama or emotional chaos. The purposeful movement patterns. Finally, women immediately notice how you move through space, and the Sigma's movement patterns are distinctly purposeful. You don't rush frantically, wander aimlessly, or move with aggressive dominance. Every step has intention and direction. Your purposeful movement communicates that you know where you're going in life, both literally and metaphorically. Women observe this and subconsciously understand that you're someone with direction, goals, and the confidence to pursue them steadily. This shows up in how you enter rooms, walk down streets, or navigate social spaces. You move with calm confidence, neither hurrying to prove urgency nor dawdling to appear casual. Your pace is determined by your purpose, not by trying to create impressions. Robert's purposeful movement caught attention at a conference when he arrived exactly on time, walked directly to his seat without scanning for approval and focused immediately on the presentation. A female colleague noted, while everyone else was networking frantically or looking around to see who was there, he seemed to know exactly why he came and what he wanted to accomplish. Your movement patterns extend to how you use your hands. Shift your weight and position yourself in conversations. Everything feels intentional rather than nervous or compensatory. You don't fidget, pace unnecessarily, or move to release anxious energy. Women find purposeful movement incredibly attractive because it suggests you're goal-oriented and confident in your direction. They can sense that you're not wandering through life hoping for things to happen. You're actively creating the outcomes you want. This quality of purposeful movement ultimately communicates that you're someone who knows what you want and has the confidence to pursue it steadily, which makes women want to be part of your journey rather than wondering if you even have one. The Sigma Advantage. Your silent power. Revealed. Brothers, we've just uncovered the 10 magnetic qualities that women instantly detect in Sigma males. From your strategic silence to your purposeful movement patterns, these aren't techniques to learn or masks to wear. They're natural expressions of a man who's committed to authentic self-development. The beautiful truth is that women aren't just noticing these qualities. They're magnetically drawn to them because they represent something increasingly rare. Genuine masculine authenticity in a world full of pretenders and validation seekers. Your strategic silence speaks louder than others' desperate chatter. Your quality over quantity approach creates deeper connections than superficial networking. Your authentic indifference to validation makes you irresistible to those worth attracting. Every trait we've explored today stems from one core principle: knowing your worth and living by your own standards. Remember, being a Sigma isn't about isolation or superiority. It's about authentic self-mastery that naturally attracts quality. People into your orbit. You don't chase, you attract. You don't prove, you simply exist as your best self. If this deep dive into the female psyche has opened your eyes to your own magnetic potential, then you need to subscribe to Official Sigma Male right now. Why? Because we're just getting started. This channel is your headquarters for advanced Sigma strategies, psychological insights, and the brotherhood of men who refuse to settle for ordinary. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell because your journey from good to legendary starts with understanding these subtle powers you already possess. The brotherhood is waiting, and your transformation into an irresistible force of nature continues with our next video. Stay Sigma, warriors. The world needs more men like you.